Hello, welcome to Tom Coder. Today I'm going to show you how you can build a web API using Java. It's all Java, no framework. We are building something like this. User can add their information, and then it displays at the bottom, and you have the information in your backend, your database. What we are going to need for the backend, we are going to need a database. I'll be using MySQL. We need the Java bean. Some people call it POJO. Plain old Java object. We need JDBC. We need Servlet. For the front end, we need HTML, CSS, and IAS. So let's go to our IDE. Let's start rolling. I already have my package set up. I will be using this package, employee web API. Then you need some couple of dependencies and plugins. I already have my page set up. If you don't know how to set up your POM XML file, I have a video for that. You can check out my YouTube channel and then study how you can set up your POM XML. We need Maven Word plugin. We need the compiler. I'm using Java 17. We need the Jackson core, because that's going to help us annotate and run and compile our program. We need the Jackson annotation. We need the Jackson data bind, and we need the MySQL connector. So, having explained that, the first thing we're going to do is create our database. This is my database. I'm using localhost 3306. How to enter a password? Let me drop this schema so I use a fresh one. So this is how you are going to create a database. First, you create your schema. You click this, it's going to create a schema for you. Let's call it employee. Now let's call the schema company. Okay. That's our schema. Now let's create a table under the schema. Use this to create a table. Okay. Our table name will be employees. Then we need an ID for the primary key. ID. Our ID is primary key, not null. It is unique. It is okay. We need a name of the employee. We say name is not null. The employee must enter their name. I'm using varchar 45. Email can be null. Then we okay, department. Okay, we are done here. Let's make it simple. Name, email, department. We apply our schema, our table. This is what we got. So our primary key is auto increment. We don't have to specify each time. This is our table. We have created a table. Here you go. Refresh your database so your table can show up. We have a table employee. Okay, let's add one data to the employee table. We can easily do that by insert into employee, then specify the value, which is name, email, department, and the values will have, let's call it John Doe. That is the name. Email John Doe at yahoo.com. Department, let's say it's a marketing department. Marketing. Okay, so this one, okay, cool, and we run it. So we'll have inserted into employee. So let's see the information we have in the database. We can select all, since we only have one information. Select all from employee, then we run it. This is what we got. We only added John Doe. ID is 1, name is John Doe, email, and department. Basically, we are done here on the database, and I'm using MySQL. Let's go to Java. Don't forget, you have to set up your POM. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is create our POJO. You do that under the Java main, under the main source Java. This is where you create your backend. Here you create your front end. So let's create a package. Let's create a class, then create a package from there. So we'll create our POJO class. I think I'm running into an issue. Supposed to create a class. Okay. What you could do, I am on Java EE enterprise environment. What you could do is move out of EE. You can always move out and move in. Use our plain Java. We are working on this package under your Java resources. That's where you create under main Java. Create your class. Create a class. We need a package though. Let's call this package. Let's call it phase 1 development. phase 1. Our name, let's call it employee POJO. POJO is plain old Java object. That's what some people call it Java beans. Okay, so our variables were ID, int ID. We have a name, string name. We have email. I'll have departments. So the next thing we need is our constructor. Usually I do not write these things. I don't write constructors, I don't write no setters and getters. Java made it simple for me to generate them. What you do is right click, you go to source, you generate. See, constructors, using field. So gonna create generate constructor. First, no argument constructor. No argument constructor. We'll generate argument constructor for the field source constructor. Okay. We'll generate getters and setters. Getters and setters. Select all field we need. Generate toString. We also generate our hash code and equal because we do not want duplicate entry, and we also want our data to be sorted in ascending order. So hash code and equal. Okay. In that case, we are going to implement comparable. Implement comparable. This employee POJO. Okay, within the util. Comparable. Meta. Okay. So employee POJO, let's call it other. Then return this dot ID minus other dot ID. Okay, we have created our POJO. So the next thing we need to create is our JDBC. Right click, class, let's call it employee DAO. Employee DAO. Employee DAO. So we are gonna need URL for the connector. URL for the connector. We need our username. We named password. Let us make it static so that it can be visible in within the package. Let's make it static. So the username is the username for your MySQL. For me, the username is root, and the same thing, the password for your MySQL. What we are doing here is connect Java to a database. I use password for my password. For the URL, usually it is protocol double slash your host name slash your schema. So I don't ever have to memorize this thing. What I do, just copy and paste from my old project. But for the sake of this video, I will quickly show you how you can easily get this from my MySQL website. If you come here, you type MySQL, go to MySQL, and here you go to documentation. Then you are looking for connector, which is for Java. This is for .NET, Python. We are using Java. Connector for Java. Then let's say connector Java example. Okay. So these are all the connectors you would need, like for the driver manager, all the things you need are there. So what we are looking for, the URL connector. So but these are all the connector examples you have, and we might need to steal some of them. But for the URL, we use this one, the URL syntax. See the way it is: protocol, the host, database, and properties. So yeah, so back to our IDE. So my protocol is JDBC MySQL let me not waste your time. So copy from my old project. Usually that's what I do. So when you master these things, you just copy and paste it. So this is what I'm gonna do. What our schema is what? Okay, our schema is company. Our schema name is company. Yep, our schema is company. So the next thing you do is load your driver. I usually like to put it in the static scope, because we might need it for the get and post. And the connector, the class loader, we can also steal it from MySQL. Remember how I showed you? So you can come here, you steal it from here for the driver manager. So this was for the URL. Yeah, so this is what we need. Can steal this one. You don't have to worry or memorize any of this. Is provided for by MySQL. Okay, surround it with try catch block. Okay. So the next thing you do is make a connection. So connection goes to driver dot yeah. So the next thing we do is make a connection, but before then we need a method. So the first thing we are doing here is retrieve the data from the database. So since we are using, we want our data to be sorted in ascending order. We actually implemented on the POJO, we implemented our comparable. So we're going to use set. Let's all use set. Our POJO is employee POJO. Employee POJO. Find all. Okay. And then set. What should we call this class? We call it okay, data out equals to new tree set. POJO. Okay, we need the util for our set. Import Java util. We are importing from the Java util. Then has to be in the scope. Return method. Okay. I like to put it in the try resources, the connection. Driver manager dot we get connection. Don't forget your one that will make you use the URL, username and password. Dot. Okay. Okay, we'll do this reference the database. What do we want to do there? SQL equals to we are selecting all the data. Select all from employee. That was our table. The next thing we do is prepare statements. Prepare statement. Statement equals to con dot prepare statement. Yep. Okay. Now, the result of our statement or the result from our database have to be displayed. Result set. Let me call it RS is equals to statement dot execute. We are executing query. Execute query. We are executing query. Execute query. Import from JavaScript. So our result is probably going to have a long list of data. So what we'll do is y result dot next our okay, let's figure this out. I don't know what we are showing there. While result set dot next result set dot next. Our primary key is integer int id is equals to our result set dot get int as id. What am I doing? This is inside here. Plus this out. So the next thing is name, string name is equals to user set dot get string. And its name email s dot get string email last thing, our last variable is department. User set dot get string department. Okay. So we have to populate this data into our Java bin, which is employee POJO. Let me just call it employees. Let me call it POJO. Post to new employee POJO. What we'll have is ID, name, email, department. This is what we'll have. So we add it to the database. So we add the new information to the database. So how do we do that? Okay, yeah. We call the data out dot add POJO. Yep. So we are done here for the, if I call do get, we are done here for the data retrieval. So for us to add data to the table, we also need to create a new method. So to create a new method, okay, That one, similar process, but this case we're gonna use public. Our employee, our POJO, POJO name is employee POJO. We create, what should we call our name? What should we call it? We call it, okay, let's call it POJO. Let's call it data in. Okay. Syntax error. Where are we? Are we out of the scope? Probably. We're out of the scope. Probably out of the scope. Okay. Okay, are we out of the scope? Let me see. Anyway, I'm just gonna take it up so I don't struggle looking for the scope. I'm gonna take it out from here. Let's do it over here. Since we already know the scope of this one, which is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's do it on top here. No matter where we do it. What do we have? Syntax error. Okay, public, capital letter, public. Okay, add a return type. Cool. We have done that. So we also make a connection. The same thing. Instead of typing, we are just going to steal some of this code. We'll steal this, so the same thing. I'm just going to steal this one, and boom, we'll have it there. But here we are not selecting. What we do here is insert. We do insert into employee. The variables we have name, email, department. Values. And UES. The values will have, since you are going to request from the user, we use question marks for the values. We have 3 variables. We also provide 3 question marks. Yep, that's for that. Then the prepare statement. Another thing we are going to add, since we did not provide ID, our ID is auto-generate, we are going to specify it here. That the prepare statement, which we will do statement dot return generated key, which is this one. So statement dot, we are setting, here we are setting string, setting int, we set string, yeah, the first variable is 1. What is the name of our, okay, data in dot, so let me correct this here. In dot, we get name, get name, statements, set string, which is for the email. The next variable is number 2, which is our data in dot get email, statement dot set string, which is variable is 3, data in dot get department. Yes, that's the third one. So the next thing we do, we will have to execute. We execute our update, statement dot execute, this one we are updating our record, execute update, remember for the primary key we do not provide, we are auto generating primary key, so we have to do that here. We have to provide the platform for our DAO to generate primary key for our database. How we do that is we do result set, let's call it primary key, equals to statement dot, there is see, there is a syntax for it. There is a method, Java method that helps you generate, which is get generated key. Get generated key. So the key is in series, it's not just one, so that is why we'll do while primary key dot next primary key dot next what did I do? While primary key dot next okay, let me just work within the scope. While primary key dot next integer we'll call it ID. Equals to primary key dot get integer dot get int. Our int will start from 1. That is what we are going to do. Starting from 1. Okay, we are done here, but we'll have this error because we have to catch our try block. So we are still going to steal some of the information here. Let's steal this one, catch block. Have more scope, so we get rid of this. Yep, so we are done with our DAO. Save our so the next thing we do is create our servlet. Create a servlet, put it in the same package. So let's call it employee servlet. Employee servlet. So our first method will be do get to retrieve the data from the database. Do get okay. For us to use servlet, we have to connect to a server. On here, I'll switch back to Java EE first of all. Switch back to Java EE. From now on, I think I'll be working on Java EE. So I have a Tomcat. I have to connect first of all to the server. What you do is right click on your project name, you go to property, you go to target runtime, you choose the Tomcat version you have. For me, I have 10.0. apply it. Apply. The next thing is add. Right click on your, if you were here on the console, you have to navigate to your server. Navigate to server, right click on server, you add and remove. So our project is employee web API. You add it to the configured section. Let's remove the old one so we know we are working only on this one. Then you finish. Yes. Click on finish. Now we'll have our project running on Tomcat 10.0. So to get okay, so let's update our project. Updates baby project. Okay, updated. So do get. Okay, let's see. Let's reference our JDBC, which is, let's make an instance of JDBC. JDBC DAO. call it DAO equals to new JDBC. Okay, reference to it. Okay, so yeah, our JDBC is not actually this. It is employee DAO. Employee DAO, call it DAO, equal to new employee DAO. Okay, that's for that. So when you are using Servlet, you need to annotate, specify your URL pattern. That was why we used the Jackson annotation dependency. We call it at web Servlet. You provide your URL patterns. Let us call it employee / API. You import your, you see where it's coming from, jakarta.servlet.annotation servlet. You also extend the HTTP servlet. HTTP servlet. You also import the UT. Now our method will be to get to retrieve the information from the database. To get, okay, we don't need all of these. So when we get the data, we have to convert it to JSON objects. So how we do that is to string JSON equal to new object, object mapper dot write value new object mapper. That's what I'm supposed to get. New object mapper no, I think I need to, yes, I need to get my method for the retriever. So don't forget we are using set. The POJO name is employee POJO. Should I call this employee servlet? Let's call it Servlet out, so we don't miss the names. Servlet out to DAO dot, we find all. Let's find all. Then import our util. So we convert our object to JSON object. So what we do is string JSON equals to new object mapper dot. We write value as string. That value as string. Then we pass in our variable. Now the next thing we do is we get the writer to the screen, which is response dot get writer dot print. That print we print JSON. We are going to set the data type to JSON, otherwise it's going to be text. Response dot set content type, set content type to application / JSON. That's it for do get. So for do post, we are going to do post. Do post. We don't need this. Since we are posting data into the database, we are going to use input stream to request input from the user. So input stream, what do we call it? Call it servlet in. Servlet in equals to request dot get input string. Okay, get input string. So after we get input string, we convert our input string to a JSON object. Okay, let's do this. Util import our util. So our POJO is employee POJO. What do we name this? We name it Servlet data in Servlet data is equal to new object mapper, new object mapper dot write value as string, write value as string. This time we are not writing value, we are reading. We read value dot read object mapper dot read value. When we read value, we pass in two arguments. It's two parameters, two arguments it takes here. It takes our our variable, which is servlet in, and it takes our POJO class, which is employee POJO dot class. After we have converted to a JSON object, we create a DAO object for it, so it can be stored in our database. We have employee POJO, let's say updated. Updated Servlet data. Servlet data. Just what is our DAO? Okay. Yeah, our DAO DAO dot create employee data. Now we have created employee data. We are going to get the writer. We have converted to write to we've written it to our database. Also, we also have to convert to a JSON object. So what we do is string, let's say updated JSON, got to new object, new object mapper, got to write value as input string, then give us that, then we print we'll print the data response dot get writer dot print. We are printing updated JSON. We print updated JSON. So don't forget, we are not going to type the primary key. So we want the system to automatically generate the primary key. So what we do is we have to write a program for that. The way you do that is you do response dot get writer. I'm just going to use one line for this. What I'm doing here is these two together, so I'm going to write it in one line. Dot print dot print. I'm not using character. Dot print. I'm printing new object, new object mapper dot write value as string, yep. So then you don't have to set the status type, but usually I want to set the status type, so when I get the status I know, okay, this is what I set the status. But if you don't set the status, you're going to get 200. So I'm going to set my status to 201, 201. Then you have to display our data in JSON format. So we'll set it to JSON format. So what we'll do is response.set content, just like what we did on the doGet. Set content. We'll call it application/JSON. Yeah, we're done. We're done with basically the back end. We're done with the back end. So the next thing we need to do is test our back end with Tomcat. When we're able to get the result from Tomcat, then we'll move to the front end. That's how I like to do my my project. I start from the back end so I could do my testing. Then when my testing is good at the back end, then I go work on the front end. Stay tuned while I take you around the Tomcat platform. If you don't have Tomcat, you have to download that. So we have to start our server and then go to Tomcat and run our code. I'm just going to test it over there. So you right click on your Tomcat, you start server. Server started. We are listening on port 8080. You load your Postman. So our port is local host 8080. Our project name is Employees Web API. Employees Web API / our URL is what? Our URL is employee API /employee/API. Let's do our doGet first. doGet, send it. Okay, we get our response. The status is 200 because we did not set the status for doGet. Yes, doGet, we did set the status. Now let's post something and see if we have what we posted. So this is doGet. This is a JSON format object. So let's copy that. Then let's do post. Then we are gonna do the body. Let's do raw. We paste that here. No. Let's just copy the JSON. Paste it there. I don't need the ID because the ID is auto-generate. Let's change the name. Let's change our name to, let's say, Mike Dean, Mike Wood, whatever. It doesn't exist. So we say email can be null. Should we try null email? Okay, let's say none at yahoo.com. Department, let's say he is DevOps department. Now let's post it. That's what we get. Post. Yep. We have object posted in. So let's do get again and see what we have. If we have this object in our database. Okay. Body. Okay, let's see our database and see if we have our data. We select from employees. Okay, we don't have it. So how do we fix that? What do we get? We get an exception. We have an error in SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds. Okay. Yeah, we ran into this problem. SQL error syntax. So what is the problem? Let's see. This is do post, right? Right here, so we'll have the problem. Syntax error. Oh, okay. That might be it. We did not close the curly brace. We do not close the bracket. We open it here, we didn't close it here. Hopefully it solves the problem. So we save. I just save Control S to save. Update our project. Moving project. Update. Let's do Maven run install. Let's do Maven install. See if everything is alright. Is it running into the same problem? Oh, okay. Maven install was successful. Error. Okay. Okay, let's do it again. Usually sometimes it takes time to refresh and save. Maybe install. Yep, build success. Okay, server. Let's restart our server. Restart server. Server started, port 8080, our Tomcat. So we posted this before and we had an error. Hopefully this time should be good. Send it. Okay, so let's check if it added to post. Yep, we'll have our data added. Our ID is 5. Why 5? Oh, probably because we've added so many times. And okay, let's check our database. Let's select from employee and see if it added. Select from employee. Yep, we'll have our data in the employee. Basically, we are done with the back end. So what we need to do now is go to the front end. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Eclipse for this one. No, I'm not gonna use Eclipse. I'm gonna use Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is way better with JavaScript thing. But how do we link Visual Studio Code? So I'm gonna show you how we can link it. You open your folder. Open folder. You have to locate where you have your project. My project here is under Eclipse Workspace, which is this employees web API collect. Then we import it. So we don't have that now. Yeah, this is our employee web API. Under source, main, Java, this is our backend, the DAO, the POJO, and the Servlet. This is where we create our under here, under the web is where we create our index, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Let's see, new file. What do we call it? Let's call it employee.html. Employee.html. Yep. So now we'll have our employee.html. What do we do here? So the way I did this, which is, we'll call this the metadata. What I did, I don't have the time to type all of this with my hand. So what I did is you shift, you do one. What do they call that? Is it apostrophe? Yeah, if you can get that that sign on, but for my keyboard is shift, then one. You do your tab, bring it up for you. Then the title of our front end, let's call it employee web API. This is where we write our body, you know. This is where we write our HTML. So what we need, we are gonna need a heading. So let's use H1 as our heading. We call it company. Let's call it company web register. Okay, that's our heading. We are going to need a table for when we post. What we get is going to show on a table, just like the one I showed you. We are working something like this. So this is like a table. This is what we are going to create. So when we retrieve, is going to like show here. So when you do that is table Under your table, you have what we call T-head. And the T-head we will call table row, then table header. Our table header will have ID, T-head, we have name, T-head, we have email, T-head, we have department. Okay, basically we're done here. So so this is for this part. So let's do this part. For us to do that part, we are going to do a form action, which is called form action. So a form for, what do we call it? The form action. Should we call it employee form? Okay, let's call it employee form. So instead of action, let's call it an ID. Let's name it an ID so we can reference it. Then in the form, we're going to have space for name, space for email, and space for departments. So let's start them into each division. Div means that each variable will be in a separate page. That's what it means. So label for, let's say, name, for name, then the input type. Input type is test. That is for that. We'll do another div. Label for email. Input type is test. Another div. Label for department. The input type is test. So we are going to do the submit button. Submit button, we do not need label. Let's just say input type. Input type. It is not test this time, it is submit. Type is submit. So the value is submit. Value submit. So let's also wrap this into a div. This table, let's wrap into a div for table. I hope I have everything. I have the table, the T head, table row, and table header. Okay, so basically we are done here without styling so far. Now the next thing we're gonna do is create a new file for JavaScript. We'll write our action when we submit button or when we do whatever we have to do. So let's call it employee.js. Okay, so what we do is for JavaScript, that's what a method we use called the document dot get element by ID. Remember, that was why we specified the form action. So the form action, we need to use it, then we'll know, okay, we are getting the ID. So this ID is our form action ID. So what did we call it last time? Okay, employee form. I'm just gonna copy it. Employee form. Get element by ID dot add event listener. So this event listener will take two parameters. One, what the action you want to perform. What action we want to perform? We want to click. When we click, what do we want the action to do? That's function. When we click, we want the action to give us, to impute parameters into our database. So we say var name, the name of form. Name of form is equal to document dot get element by ID dot value. So the value of whatever we impute by the value we are looking for, and area value. I'll just write value. So the problem here is on our form, the name, the email, and the department, we did not specify an ID. So what we could do is come here and specify ID. So what we could do is specify an ID. Input type. So let's say ID. Let's call it name. ID is name. Let's say employee name. Employee name is our ID. The name is employee name. Let's call employee name. Okay, we do the same for the email and the department. So I'm just gonna copy this and replicate here and replicate here. So what I do is change name to email variables. Email So go back to our JS, we cannot put in there. I do employee name. So I'm just going to copy this sort of typing. I don't want to waste your time. The video is already getting too long, which is email or form. I think employee email. Yes, that's what we have. Employee email. This one is okay. Department of form. Department of form. The name is department. Was that what we call it? I have to change that to department. I did not change it earlier. Department. Employee department. Employee department. Okay, we have that. So the next thing we are going to do is do object literal, because we need to put these variables that we need the values for into our main variables in the POJO, which is, we call it object literal. So we call it object literal. So let me say var, should I call it employee data? Let's call employee data. Employee data. I hope I have not used any of these names. Have name, which is name of phone. Email or phone. Department or phone. Department or phone. Okay. So what we have done so far is what we call low-level DOM manipulation. So right here we need to perform alias function, which is I'll call it var shr is equals to new s HTML request. Then SHL dot already state to a function ready state to a function. So what do we want? There's some action we need to perform. So if the ready state, if ready state is committed, then the program should run. We say if shro dot ready state equal to 4. If ready state is equal to 4, we want let's say data to JSON.pass. JSON.pass pass response test. Response test? Yes. So what happens here is we have ready state from 1 to 4. Let me quickly show you. The 4 is committed from 0 to 4 rather. Let me quickly show you. Ready state alias. Okay, let me get it on MDN. Ready state MDN. Okay. Okay, here ready state, yeah, XML HTTP request ready state. Yes, we have 0 to 4. The 0 is unsent, 1 is opened, 3 is loading, 2 is headers received, 4 is done. So what we are saying here is when our ready state is done, we want our data to be converted to JSON format. That's why we say JSON.pass. So after JSON has passed, we need to JSON has passed the data, then we need to loop over all the variables we have. So for Java we use for. You know how we do Java? We use for we say string. You can say whatever I want to name it, I. Then our variable name, which is employee data. Data. But for JavaScript, this is not gonna work. So what we do for JavaScript, there's a method for each. On ECMA 6, we have from for each data, for each method, we say data dot for each. We do data dot for each. So then we are going to pass our employee data. Employee data. When we pass employee data, so we also need to replace this to employee data. When we pass employee data, what we want employee data to search for each variable, we have to go back to our backend specifically our JDBC. Go back to our front end, JDBC. This is what we are looking for. This is our updated POJO. So we want all of these to be passed in. You can copy that. POJO. So we are done here. No, we still need to send and open our SHR. SHR dot open. When we open, what do? We are getting variables. We open, we get, then we open to our URL, which is local host 8080 slash. Okay, let's copy that from localhost 8080, and our project name is employees web API. Our URL is company/API. So we can confirm this from Tomcat, because Tomcat, we tested our backend, we got a good result. So we can test that from the backend. We copy that from the backend to us to confirm. So basically, we should have even copied and paste to be very sure we are getting the right URL. That's what we call context root. So URL with double slash, beginning with double slash, can be removed with the context root. So what I'm saying is, from here down here is a context root. We can replace it with this slash. It's the same thing with all the local host. So here after we have opened, we send. Send. What are we sending? We are sending POJO. So we are done with the put. What we need to do next is the get. So let's quickly take a review of what we have done so far. Did the object for the alias? Let's use if instead of while. If SHR is registered. So here I use triple equals. It's a low-level programming. So what happened is, for Java, 4 equal to 4 is false, but for JavaScript, 4 equal to 4 is true. So if we do the equal to, it could lead to syntax error or exception. But for JavaScript, for them to like make it this for, I guess this for to be false, you use the triple equals. What the triple equals does is it compares values and type. But if you look at this is value 4, value 4, but the type is int here, the type here is string. So it's gonna, we use triple equals, we'll make it true. So that's why we use triple equals. So I think here I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, I need to move this downward a little bit. Let's scroll down. Let's scroll down. Okay, we are done for the post. Let's do for the send. For the send, we need a function for all the data. So function, let's call it so let's call it data table. Data table. Data table. Our data table take parameter. The parameter is our POJO. So our POJO. What we're also doing here is low level manipulation. We have var, which is our table row, is equal to document dot create element. The element we are creating is table row. Creating table row, var, we have our ID, document dot create. Our ID is going to take a space for TD, which is data, table data. So let's copy this and paste it instead of typing. For name, email, and department. So name, email, department. Yep. So our ID dot inner test, because we need inner test of our variables to be in the table. Inner test go to POJO dot ID, name dot inner test go to POJO dot name, email dot inner test go to POJO dot email, department dot inner text to POJO dot department. Okay, so the next thing we do is append all of these child. So table row dot append child ID, table row dot append child name, table row dot append child email, table row dot append child department. Okay, so document dot get element by ID dot append child the append child here is table row, append child table row. So our ID is we get that from our table under the HTML table. We did not specify ID, so let's give it an ID. How should we call it? We call it table. Call employee table. Have we used employee table? Okay, let's call it employee table. Employee table. Call it employee table. ID. Employee table. So this is what we call low-level DOM manipulation. So the next thing we do is do our alias, which is similar to what we did here. var shr equals to new XML HTTP request. So, but before XML HTTP request, that's what we call under the get we this should be post, not get. This one is post. This is post because we are posting. Under the post, we'll have document and get element by ID. Under the get, there is a method used called window.onload. Window.onload, type a function. So the function we are loading is POJO. So we put this inside of the function. So we load SHR, the ready state to the function. So we request again if ready state, if SHR.ready state is equal to 4, if it is equal to 4, just like similar to what we did earlier, it's equal to 4, we pass the data to a JSON format. Let me call it data next to JSON dot pass SHR dot response test. Then we get all the data and populate to the table. We do the data for each. Let's copy it from here. Oh shit, this gave us array. We don't need an array. Let me steal this one. Put it here. For each POJO. Then yeah, for each so let me quickly do something here. I think we are out of scope somewhere, so let's just copy this from here down here, then we post it here from the if, post it here. Don't need that. I think we are out of scope. Okay, yeah, we're out of scope here. See that? Yeah, that fixed it. Okay. So here it is get. Oh, I think for the post I was working on the get, so something is wrong here. So here we don't do for each. After I do var, so what I'm gonna do is, let's take this out. Take that out. Then the function we created the function here, which is this function. data function. So this is what we are updating. Data function. Oh yeah, put that there. We put that there, and then POJO. Yeah, I think that should be it for the back end. So for the HTML to interact with JavaScript, we will have to link it to it. So for the post, that is what we call, because if we post it this way, it is not going to give us a JSON object. So that's what we use to convert that to JSON object, which we call JSON dot, so JSON dot stringify, stringify, then POJO. Yep. That would make it come out in JSON format. So let us review our code. We have here this. I was actually mistaking this for get, so I just changed it to post, and we'll have to update this to, so I'm even going to rename this because I have data here, I have data here, so there could be conflict. So I'm going to rename this one. Let me call it get data, then date it here, get data. Then I told you JSON stringify will convert our variables to JSON object. So what we'll do here is this. We have to put this here, which is our object literal. The literal go here. Okay, I think that should be it. This is for the post, while this is for the get. Okay. Yes, so for us to link our JavaScript to HTML, we use the let's do it here immediately after our title. Use the script, then the name of our JavaScript, which is employee.js. That should be it. So I'm going to do something so that when we click, we get a window alert, so we know we are getting our JavaScript is connected. So let's do it here. This is post. Let's do it here. Window not alert. Let's use, okay, let's call it sources. Then What else? We have not touched the CSS yet. So if you go back to your Eclipse, you will have to update your Maven project so that all the work we've done on VS Code will be updated here. Update project. Let's see if we have our VS Code work here. Okay, yeah, we'll have what do we have? Error. Okay. Legal state exception. Okay, let's look that one first. Let's see what we'll have. We'll have our HTML. And we have our JS. Okay. So can we go test it out on web browser? Okay. So we have to restart our server. Let's do Maven build first. Maven install. Let's do Maven install. Maven install. Our Maven install was Maven build was successful, so we have to restart our server. Restart server. Let's see what we got. Okay. Server restarted successfully. This port 8080. Okay, let's check it out. Is this starting? Okay, cool. Let's check it out what we got here. So we are just gonna steal this. URL. We go to a new page. Post this. Remember, I told you we will not need. We still need the local host. So the local host. Then from here, we remove that. We'll use index. .html. Is that our HTML name? Let's see what we got here. Our HTML is employee.html. Employees.html. Okay. It is employees. Employees.html. That is the name of our HTML. Cool. We have our page running. So let's see if we add name, what we get. If we can add name. Let's say Lulu. Email lulu@non.com. Department. Let's say he is in IT department. What we send, what do we get? Nothing. Okay, our post is not working yet. So what is our return? What do we have? Why do we not? Okay, let's go to our VS Code and see what we get. Okay, yeah. So what we could do is from here we inspect our VS Code and see what the errors are. The console. Okay, yeah, this is the error. Uncut type error. Cannot read properties of null. Okay, employees. So let's see what the problem is. It is the JavaScript that is the issue. Network. Yeah, our JavaScript is not being run. JavaScript is not being run. Okay, let's go back to our program, Visual Studio Code. Let's review our code. Okay. So I think the problem is our HTML, where the position of our script, because it is not being run, is saying it is null. Right. God is saying our it's not even running at all, like it's not even getting to this point, you know. So what we could do, let's move this downward. Let's see. So another thing we could do, we could do inline script. We paste our JavaScript on here. We can paste that to also check, but before I do that, let me see if I put this here, if that will solve the problem. You save, I do Ctrl S to save. We can go to a file and click on save. Then let's refresh. Okay, same problem. So let us go to Eclipse and update our project. Update Maven project. Let's do Maven exception. Okay. Let's do Maven install. Run Maven install. Okay. Build was successful. I'm going to restart my server. Server restart. Okay. Server started on port. Should start on port 8080. Oh yeah, on port 8080. 8080. So let's go back to our Chrome. Have local host 8080 employee web API.html. Okay, I think that solved the problem. Oh cool, that solved the problem. Yeah, this is our database. So let's try to add some values. What name should we call? Let's call this Lulu. So Lulu okay, email luluwe@yahoo.com. Department, let's say it's in marketing. Okay. Right, nothing is being added. Again, we have undefined. Okay, let's go check out what's going on. as a programmer, you run into issues like this. You should be good at debugging your code. So this is not a JavaScript problem, because if it is, you will get the console. But it's not. Let's go check out our Eclipse. We should see what do we have. Okay, Jackson data bind, unrecognized field, department, first employee POJO. Okay, this is where the issue is. The department, employee POJO, department. Oh shit, I spelled department wrongly. I'm just going to correct that. Remove the E and have a couple of corrections to make here. Department, remove the E. You know what? I'm just going to remove everything and regenerate instead of wasting my time on recreating and correcting the errors, and I might miss something too trying to do that. I'm just going to remove that. I've corrected it here. What we did before, we are going to generate a constructor. This time around, source constructor is going to be argument constructor. Okay, then source, getters and setters, mark out your field. Getters and setters will generate toString, source toString, hash code and equals, source hash code and equals. Okay, that should be it. Save that. I keep doing Control S to save. So we'll have correction to make on the POJO, on the DAO, which is this department. Correct that. What else do we have here? Okay, this one is correct here. Save. Does it have any issue here? No. Okay. Okay, so if you look at our data, we'll have undefined on the department, probably because we spelled it wrongly. And again, look at our URL. It's so long. This is not what we specified, you know. Our URL end here. So what we could do, we could prevent this from happening. How you do that is you specify, you prevent the event from happening. So under the function, we specify event, and here we say event dot prevent default. Yep, we prevent the default from loading the long URL. I think it's called UT-8. I need to look that up. So I think we have corrected that. I think everything should be alright. Yeah. That table. I think everything should be alright here. So let's see what we got. Okay. Let us update our Maven project. Maven update. update Maven install. Update is complete. Maven run as Maven install. Okay, the build was successful. We have to restart our server, so we'll get a fresh reload, a fresh page. So my Tomcat is running on port 8080. This is my Tomcat. It's listening on port 8080. So if you are not using port 8080, you have to specify the port you are using. So go back to URL. We remove all this, so many things. This is not our URL. This is our URL. Then we enter. Okay, good. Now we have our information. We'll have the name, ID, name, email, and department. So let's add data. We added this one before, which did it enter? The email, we.com. We say marketing department. We already have marketing, so let's do accounting. We have marketing on one. Accounting, and we send. Yay, we have something. Okay, I have 7. You might not have this because I have added. This is the one we added that did not work, probably. Let's check our backend, our SQL, to see if we have that new data we added. If select from employees, yep, we have it. 8. Why are we having 7? Which is not okay. Let's remove that. Delete from employee as our where ID is equals to 7. Let's remove that. We don't need it. This is just empty table. Okay, I think I deleted that. So let's select. Let's check what we have now. Employee run it. Cool. We have the 3 data we added. So the next thing we are going to do now is to style our. We need to style our page because it's not looking fine at all. So we need to start. You see, it's not looking fine. So I'm gonna do inline styling for CSS because I need very few style. I need very few things to style the page. So what you could do is we are doing inline style. Inline CSS, you do this styling. You specify it instead of linking it like JavaScript. We have a different page, but here we're going to do our CSS inside of the HTML. It is called inline style. Let's do the body. Right. So body. Let's do background color. No, don't do that. Why is he giving me div? Style. Background color. What should we use? Let's try use Azure color. Okay, let's do Azure. Background color is Azure. So this is all we're probably gonna need for CSS. The remaining styling I'm gonna steal them from Bootstrap. But Bootstrap makes the thing very easy for us to style. Yeah, Bootstrap. First of all, we're gonna create a container. So I'm gonna show you under the doc. So let's do the layout. Container with the grid system. Okay, so you are going to wrap all your content inside of a div. Now fluid. Okay, so let's do that. So let us wrap all of these inside of a div. Yeah, we'll wrap all of these inside of a div. We'll containerize that div. Div class container. I want to use container fluid. Okay. Container fluid. Then for table, Bootstrap has a class. Is it a class or ID? I have to look it up. I think it's a class called table. It's going to help us structure the table. Then for all of these, we are going to have form control. Okay, let me look it up. See. Form control. Okay, yeah, it's gonna come out this way. This is the styling. Class form control. So I'm just gonna stay this, paste it side of all of our input. Class form control. control. For the button, Bootstrap has a very fine color. We can steal that the button. Let's steal this one. So let's steal that one. The class button primary. Okay. Bootstrap makes the thing very easy. If not, we'll have been doing all of these so many work. Okay. So we'll go back to our Eclipse. I have to update the project. And we start our server. Am I getting error? Exception? Okay, we're going to start the server. See first. Let's start server. Okay. Here is our web. What? What happened? What is going on here? Okay, let's inspect. Let's see what we are having here. Okay. So console. Do we have nothing? Let's go back to our HTML and see what we did wrong. We added style. Okay. Our script is missing. Our script is missing. Script source. employee.js. Okay, so let's save that. Go to our Eclipse and update our Maven project. And restart our server. What do I have? Do I have exception? I have no exception. Okay, back to our page. Okay, yeah, our page is back. I was like, what's going on? Okay, but our styling is not effective yet. Not effective yet. Input class, form control. Okay. Okay, let's see. If we do the div, class, we do form group. group. For all the divs. Oh yeah, so when you are using Bootstrap, we need the Bootstrap links. So you come here, this is where you get it. Oh man, how did I manage to forget that? We are going to copy this. Let's copy this one. Copy this. Man, how did I manage to forget that? Bootstrap. Here is our page, okay. I think it goes here too. If it doesn't work, we can take it up. Is that what we need? Let me be sure for what we need. Okay. The link here. I believe we now have that. So if we take this, okay. So I think we have it there. So let's go and restart our server. Is it change? Okay, yeah, change is there. Update to Maven project. Restart server. Class, from control, from group, table, okay. Still not effective. Okay, let's see. Let's take it to the top. Take it to the top. Quickly after the title. Fresh. Okay, start server. Started synchronized. Okay. What? What is going on? Okay, it's not working. Let us take from here then. Maybe I was taking the wrong what do they call it? CDN link. That's what they call it. So yeah, taking the wrong one. Replace this one with that. How do you keep? Did I not copy that thing? Copy. I have that pasted. Okay. Immediately after the body. For the body, okay. Copy that. Paste that. Okay. Still waiting for the change. Okay, let's restart the server. Hopefully it works this time. Okay. Yes, well, this time. Then where's our? Okay, the table has not worked. Yes, this has not worked. This has to work. So let's go back to our HTML and see what is wrong with this. What's going on with this? We're supposed to line up with the variables. So let's see. Let's just work with Eclipse on this. So this is where the issue is. Okay, let's remove the div and let's see. Let's wrap our table data with table. Remove the div. See what we'll get. If that will take care of it. Okay. Save. Restart server. Okay. Boom, it worked. Okay, so should we try to add another data? Let's add data. What should we call this? What name should we call it? Let's call it Tom Coda. Tom Coda at tomcoda.com. Java developer. Let's see what we get. Did you not add? Oh yeah, it did. It did add. So this is, we've come a long way on this video. I think we've done a great job. If you follow to this point, you are now a full stack Java developer. If you're able to present this to an employer, at least you've been able to get your hands on some code. We could do more styling, like margins to move this to the center, move the ID downward, or you will add some more informations. We can also reduce this size of this, but the video is already taking too long, so I'm not gonna worry about styling CSS. At this point, I will just end the video at this point, because we have achieved our goal. Our goal is to create a web API and add data and view the data we added. If you enjoyed this video, please leave the comment on the comment box below and tell me how you feel. If you are having challenges trying to get to this stage, you can always shoot me a message. I will respond back to you, and you can subscribe, share and like, because I'm going to be doing the framework. Going to be doing the same project with frameworks, so then you learn the framework and the Java. The framework actually make the work easy, very easy. So I'm still going to be doing that, so stay tuned and watch out. Bye. See you next video.